In the heart of Europe lies a country smaller than West Virginia. It has no oil, no major tech companies, no natural resources worth mentioning, yet it holds $2.4 trillion in foreign wealth. That's more than the entire GDP of Canada. How does a tiny landlocked nation become the world's piggy bank for dictators, drug cartels, and tax dodgers? This is the story of how Switzerland became the world's greatest financial safe, and why your taxes might be paying for it. To understand Swiss banking, we need to go back to 1934. Europe is on the brink of war. The Nazis are seizing Jewish assets across Germany. Wealthy Europeans are terrified their money will be confiscated, their families destroyed. Switzerland sees an opportunity. In 1934, Switzerland passes the Swiss Banking Act, making it a criminal offense to reveal a client's identity. Not just against the rules, not just a fine. Up to 6 months in prison. Bankers who talked went to jail. This wasn't about customer service. This was about creating an impenetrable fortress around other people's money. During World War II, this secrecy became Switzerland's superpower. Nazi officials hid stolen gold looted from occupied territories. Jewish families hid their life savings, desperate to preserve something for their children. Arms dealers hid their profits. Everyone hid something. And Swiss banks asked no questions. They didn't care if you were hiding money from Hitler or hiding money for Hitler. Your secret was safe. After the war, as Europe rebuilt from the ashes, Switzerland had a new reputation. The vault that never opens. And the world's wealthy took notice. Dictators from Africa discovered they could loot their national treasuries and park millions in Geneva while their people starved. Arms dealers from the Middle East found a safe haven for profits from endless conflicts. Drug lords from Latin America learned that cocaine money spent just as well as any other money as long as it was in the right bank. They all had one thing in common: a Swiss bank account. By the 1970s and 80s, Switzerland wasn't just a banking center, it was the banking center. An estimated 1/3 of all global offshore wealth flowed through Swiss vaults. The gnomes of Zurich, as they were called, had built an empire on silence. So how does it actually work? How do you hide billions in Switzerland? Let me walk you through it. Step 1. The numbered account. Forget your name. In Switzerland, you're just a number. Account 9427B. No name on any paperwork, only a handful of senior bankers even know who owns it. When you call your banker, you don't say your name, you say your number. Even inside the bank, most employees have no idea whose money they're managing. They're just moving numbers around for other numbers, but smart money doesn't stop there. Step 2. The shell company. You create a company in Panama. That company has no employees, no office, no business. It's just a piece of paper. That Panamanian company creates another company in the British Virgin Islands. Same thing, just paperwork. That company creates another in Liechtenstein. Then that final shell company opens the Swiss account. Now there are 3 layers between you and your money. A prosecutor in your home country would need to get court orders in 4 different jurisdictions just to find out the account exists. Good luck with that. It could take years. Most governments give up. Step 3. The wealth manager. This is where it gets really interesting. Swiss private banks don't just hold your money in a vault collecting dust. They manage it actively. They invest it, diversify it. They buy real estate in London under your shell company's name. They purchase stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. They acquire gold stored in Singapore, bonds in Tokyo, art in Geneva free ports. Your dirty money is now clean, diversified, and growing at 7% annually. And here's the critical part. Switzerland doesn't ask where it came from. The pattern repeats throughout history. When Ferdinand Marcos was looting the Philippines throughout the 1970s and 80s, stealing an estimated $10 billion from his own people, where did it go? Swiss accounts. When Sani Abacha ruled Nigeria in the 1990s and embezzled $5 billion from oil revenues while his country suffered, where did he hide it? Swiss accounts. When Mobutu Sese Seko ransacked Zaire for decades, accumulating a personal fortune while his nation collapsed into poverty, where was his money safe? Swiss accounts. When Russian oligarchs needed to move money out after the fall of the Soviet Union, circumventing capital controls and international sanctions, where did they turn? You guessed it, Swiss accounts. But in the 2000s, something changed. The 2008 financial crisis devastated government budgets worldwide. Tax revenues collapsed, deficits exploded. Politicians were cutting services, raising taxes on middle-class workers, and then they started asking an uncomfortable question. Why are we going after teachers and nurses when billionaires are hiding trillions offshore? The public pressure became intense, and governments finally decided to act. In 2009, UBS, Switzerland's largest and most prestigious bank, got caught red-handed. They hadn't just been passively accepting money, they'd been actively helping Americans evade taxes. UBS bankers were coaching clients on how to structure shell companies. They were smuggling diamonds in toothpaste tubes to help clients move assets without detection. They were shredding documents, they were using encrypted computers, they were running a sophisticated tax evasion operation. The U.S. Department of Justice came down hard. UBS paid $780 million in fines and, more importantly, handed over 4,450 client names. This was absolutely unprecedented. Switzerland had never done this before. The sacred wall of secrecy had cracked. Soon after, the United States passed FATCA, the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, forcing foreign banks to report American account holders or face being cut off from U.S. financial markets. No bank can survive without access to American markets, so they complied. Then came the Common Reporting Standard, an agreement among over 100 countries to automatically share tax information. Switzerland, facing overwhelming international pressure and the threat of financial isolation, signed on in 2017. The era of absolute secrecy was officially over. Or was it? Here's the thing about rules. Rich people pay very smart people to find the loopholes, and Switzerland's new transparency has some very convenient loopholes. Switzerland may share information now, but only on request. You have to know someone has an account to ask about it. If you don't know the specific account number, the shell company name, or have substantial evidence, you get nothing. It's like being told you can search a library, but only if you already know the exact title of the book you're looking for. The truly wealthy adapted quickly. They're using art storage in Geneva Freeports, where a Picasso worth $100 million is easier to hide and transport than cash. They're creating trust structures that technically don't count as bank accounts under reporting rules. They're using corporate ownership through Swiss foundations that fall outside automatic reporting requirements. The game evolved, but it didn't end. Switzerland still holds 25% of all global offshore wealth today, more foreign money than any other country on Earth. That $2.4 trillion represents someone, somewhere, who doesn't want their government knowing about their money. And here's why you should care. When billionaires hide money offshore, your taxes go up to compensate for the lost revenue. When dictators loot their countries and park it in Geneva, your foreign aid dollars have to make up the difference. When corporations use Swiss structures to dodge taxes, your roads don't get fixed and your schools stay underfunded. It's estimated that tax havens cost governments $500 billion per year in lost revenue. That's not a victimless crime. That's your money. Switzerland built an empire on secrecy, and even with transparency laws, it remains the world's most sophisticated financial hiding place. If this gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe.